Hi, I'm Amelia Walters. This was my first year at teen camp, and one of my favorite things that I did at camp was probably the worship, because it was just loud and like you could feel God moving in you during the music. And another thing was probably just hanging out with my friends in the inn where we slept, and we just got to talk and about lots of things, and it was really fun. And I can't wait to go next year.
Hi, my name's Maddie. And before camp, I was hanging out with the wrong people. I was going to parties and just not following the Word of God. But I was coming to youth group on Wednesdays, coming to church on Sundays, but I just wasn't getting into the Word of God like I should have. And when we went to camp, I thought camp was just going to be the same as last year. Like nothing new, but I was wrong. And when Pastor Scott brought up the verse, John 8:12, that says, Jesus spoke to them again, says, I am the light of the world. He who follows me shall not walk in the darkness, but have light of life, which stood out to me because there's so much darkness in the world. You can get drawn to it by social media, and just going to school, you can get drawn to the darkness so much. And it stood out to me because just by following Jesus and reading the Word can bring you out of that darkness.
Hey, I'm Jada. Before camp, I wasn't expecting much. I wasn't in a bad place. I just wasn't living out the Word or speaking the Word as much as I had wanted to. I was listening to music that probably wasn't good. I was attached to my phone, which I'm still working on, and I was using the same mouth that wasn't speaking well to worship the Lord. I was also hanging out with people who didn't lead me closer to the church. At camp, I was thinking the people that chose not to go this year, and it really got me I wish everyone could or wanted to experience how you feel the presence of the Lord at camp, because it's much different. It kind of awakens you. You get to meet new people who those bonds stay with you when you come home and turn into lifelong friendships. Something that was an eye-opener for me at camp was actually from Lindy's message during morning prayer, and she spoke about how much we don't realize we say I can't in our day-to-day lives. And then that also leads me to a part of Pastor Josh's message, and he said people often tell us God isn't gonna give you this if you can't handle it, but in reality God will give you things that you can't handle. Without Him, we're not probably going to be able to handle it, but with God, all things are possible. And God is so much bigger than the I can'ts. With Him, He provides you with everything. I always believed the people when they would tell me He's not going to give me this if I can't handle it, instead of believing the Word of God.
Hi, I'm Cameron. The speaker this year at camp really stuck out to me with the things he was saying about anxiety, because I have struggled with anxiety for a while. And after camp, I felt
less anxious and just a lot better personally with the anxiety I was struggling with. And I'm very thankful for the speaker who spoke to me.
Hi, I'm Bryn. So before camp, I was dealing with a lot of stress and anxiety, especially with some new chapters coming up in my life, with leaving my family and having to make new friends and having new teammates. And the verse this year was, I am the way, I am the truth, and I am the life. No one comes to the Father except through me, John 14:6. That has so much power without any explanation. The pastor Josh that spoke at camp, he said something that really stuck with me, which is you can't change something until you recognize it. And I think it was that night that he asked that whoever was dealing with stress or anxiety to raise their hand and they were going to be prayed over. So of course that reached to me and I raised my hand and Pastor Drew prayed over me. And instantly after I got prayed over, I just had so much weight lifted off my shoulders and I felt so much like relief. And Thursday, our last full day at camp, during the afternoon session, Pastor Scott from Fellowship Church, he talked about these 4 words: detach, discover, delight, and determine. He was referring them to phone usage and how teens are addicted to the phone and how to realize that phones are a problem. But I was able to relate it to anxiety, and I mostly related it to the last 3 words, which were discover, which how I related that to was realizing what is making me anxious and why it is causing anxiety. The second word was delight and how it felt after I got prayed over and how I felt so much at peace. And then the last one was determine, how I'm going to go back to reality and keep myself at peace and from the things that are giving me anxiety. One thing that stuck with my mom that she kept coming up and telling me over and over throughout the week at camp was something that Pastor Josh said, which was, we are anointed to do hard things. So knowing every day is going to be a battle, but that I can do hard things and know that it's going to be difficult, but how I respond to it determines how to move on with my life and how I keep anxiety from keeping me from doing the things that I love. Like, for example, coming up with excuses like, I'm too worried about this, so I can't prioritize Jesus right now, or prioritize praying and reading my Bible. So I'm so glad to have the opportunity all these years to go to camp and just to be poured into and to grow my faith.
Thank you, church, for the generosity of getting us to go to camp.
Thank you for helping us to get to camp.
Thank you to the church for helping us get to camp this year.
Thank you, church, for your generosity in helping us go to camp.